Most men will never experience abundance with women. I got a clip.
We had clients who never went through that phase in their 20s. They get to their 30s, they go through their first divorce, and then you realize that they just kind of miss that whole thing.
Well, a lot of guys in general will never even come close to experiencing abundance with women. Like
Right.
they'll never even come close to being able to, oh, I'm getting 2, 3, 4 dates a week. I have girls hitting me up. I have girls obsessed. Like I have all these things sort of happening in my life. Most guys are going to just sort of marry the girl from their hometown or like the girl from work. And they know they're kind of settling, but they're like, let's see what kind of happens here. You know, they rationalize it.
Yeah, it is interesting. And then divorce rates go up and you see a serious issue with that. I feel like because people get married for the wrong reason, or they get married because they're being told to externally to get married.
Yeah, no, they're counting on the stability of it. They're counting on what their friends are doing. Oh, all my friends are getting married. I need to go get a girlfriend. I need to go move in with a girl, do all these things. It's like, man, you got to think for yourself and figure out what you actually want. You can't be just living your life based on what other people are doing.
Most men will never experience abundance with women. You guys think that's a true statement?
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of the times when dudes actually do get in relationships, it's because so they can get sex on a normal basis. So when dudes get out of relationships, they are lost because they got to get back out here and figure their way around. So when you do or are a man that can get women on a normal basis or whatever, you can stay single out here and it's not really a big deal. So with all that being said, the dudes who are in relationship, in and out of relationship, in and out of relationship, in and out of relationships, a lot of the times those dudes just can't find a woman, and they just find a woman and they just attach to her because he can't survive sexually as a single man, you know? So when you're a single man, and I'm not saying abundance, but if you can get women as a single man, you have a better understanding of life, have a better understanding of yourself. You can stay to yourself, you know, without just being up under a woman all the time. You get your heart broken less because dude get his heart broken over here, then he gets another relationship, his heart broken over here. Now, you know, he's emotionally screwed. Now he can't find a wife. So yeah, I think at some point, not a lot of men can, but I think at some point you have to be able to put yourself in a position where you can live out here single and have an abundance of women so you can know how it feels. It happened to me after my marriage because I got married at a young age. And after my divorce, I went crazy. And for a good 5 years, you know, and after that, I slowed down. And now I ain't even crazy like that no more because I got it out of my system. I think a guy has to get it out of his system. So if a man does not have at some point get an abundance of women or take advantage of that feeling, I don't know. I think he's going to end up being a cheater when he does find a woman.
All right. Let me get Ali in there. I know you've been pretty quiet. I'm getting Sir Hill next.
Well, I want to be specific about this. Are we addressing the fact that marriage is starting to be not important to the men? Is that what the video is showing? And they didn't go into details of why it's not being important to men, but I would think our salute. Men and women are put on earth to be with each other. But I think even in the video, it don't go into detail of why we're not coming together. And it is the quality of men and women that are being produced in society based on the way we're being conditioned. So the men, even if the men are getting what they want, the way we're conditioned on, you know, going after women like Sir Hale was saying, the women who look beautiful, the women who have sex, supposedly sexy. When we end up getting them, they didn't end up being a good quality woman. We're not even happy with that woman. The same thing with a man. She can get that high earner with a Lambo, and she's not happy with him either. So if on both sides of society, we're both being conditioned to like something that we naturally don't like in a way, well, to sustain a relationship, we're just going to fall apart. Society's getting worse. You know, we're going after material possessions, fake statuses, and the title of this live, superficial relationships versus investing in high quality people and families.
Go ahead, Sir.
Yeah, so my take on this is a little different. I just think that in today's world, everybody wants everything now. So I want the big house, you know, if they get married, I want the big house, give it to me now. I mean, the expensive car, I want that now. The great marriage, oh, I want that now. The beautiful family, I want it now. And we have not, in terms of, like, I'm 35, so people around my age range, we haven't been taught to cultivate anything, right? As soon as it gets difficult, it gets a little bit rough, we just bail and go find somebody else, and hopefully they got some stuff, and we skip steps. And I think the big thing for us is understanding that anything that's worth anything takes time. You have to cultivate that. You have to build a great marriage. You have to build a great family. You have to build a great life. You got to build it through the difficult times, build it through the easy times. When mama dies or when daddy dies, somebody's diagnosed with cancer, you have to continue to build. And I just think that we've lost sight on that. And as soon as it gets rough, or we go, somebody has a health concern, or somebody's libido goes down, we just run because we think it's over, because we haven't been taught to hang in there and work through stuff. So I think all that ties into why men don't want to get married, because if we do, we're probably going to lose a lot of stuff, right? So I'd rather protect my assets and have the benefit of relationship than to put myself at risk for that. And I think women operate from a place of fear as well. They want everything right now as well, because I think consumerism has been pushed on women much deeper than it has been with men. And so give them the bags, give them the clothes, the shoes, give them the status and the looks, feed the appetite for attention. And now you've got two people who can't work together because we're pulled apart from the material stuff in this life. And so, like I said, all that to say is I think men and women don't know how to build things together. We want you to be there now. And that's just not the way that successful marriages and relationships work.
All right, go ahead, Ricky. Let me get your take on this, sir.
I was just reading the ticker. Like, most men will never experience abundance with women. Are we talking about abundance with women or abundance of women?
Oh, that's a good question. I was thinking of abundance with women.
Can you say that again, Ricky?
Of women.
The video was more so of women, Ricky.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. I'm asking for clarification.
Yeah. Typo.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So if it's a abundance of women, man, I mean, I think that's what they said. That's a fact, right? If you get a good one, you try to lock it down and understand that it's requirements of monogamy, right? So I just think it's facts. You know what I'm saying? But I also don't think that because a guy have an abundance of women that prepares him down the line either. You see what I'm saying? That's just him going through chicks. I mean, it's up to him if he learned from it and, adopt different experiences and different personalities, right? It's guys, I'm just being honest. Like, I know dudes that from forever, right, still running through chicks, and I'm about to be 50. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's going to automatically something they pick up. That person got to want it, right? But I think, like, not really. Most dudes don't. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people want to say, the average guy or the standard guy or whoever, right? I mean, like I said, most dudes don't get that many women in their lifetime. They just don't. Whether it's being socially inadequate, you know what I'm saying? Something wrong with them. They mama's boys or however y'all want to name it. You know what I'm saying? The gamut, the whatever, right? I don't think a lot of men, I honestly believe, in my personal opinion, that a lot of men don't experience abundance with a lot of women. They don't. They don't.
So you think that helps that man or hurts him when he doesn't have an abundance?
No, I think it depends on that man, Mr. Let Go. I think it depends on that man and how he uses those experiences. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, there's some dudes who've been with one girl, they, from high school up to now, and hey, they're a lot better men than some of the men I know. You know what I mean? But it's some dudes that ran through a lot of women, and then when they finally got to the one that they was ready, but it's also some that was just running through women and they got married and they still running through women. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it honestly depends on the man and how they handle it and what they're looking for in that individual standard. I don't want to pigeonhole no dude because it's totally relative to what they want and what they want to go through.
All right. What's your thoughts about it, Eric?
Let's plug in my phone. I actually agree with Ricky. And it's so relative because I keep going back to the age thing, right? Like when we're younger, we do want to cycle through women because of what we've been programmed to do. Like to be a player, to, you know what I'm saying, to do all these things, to have a multitude of women, to have 2 or 3 at once and do all of this stuff. But inherently, I think that a lot of men are endeared to one woman who gives them some of the things that they really need, especially at that time. Does that mean that monogamy will be a part of it? I don't think so, because most of the guys that I know that would, like, we all can think of men, even now, that would say, that's my girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody touching her. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still out here in these streets, though. I'm still doing, you know what I'm saying? I'm still doing my thing. I'm still doing this. But her though, her, nah. You know what I'm saying? That's my girl. And then I've even heard the one day I'm gonna marry, like I've heard even that, like I'm gonna marry her. That's gonna be my girl. So I think there is, and I don't know what abundance is. You know, there's some guys that, hey, I've had multitudes of women and every week, you know, 5, whatever. But in the long run, I think men really do at times want that one. They really do. You may not admit it, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not the cool thing to do. You ain't gonna, a lot of guys, you know, especially when you're younger, ain't gonna pat you on the back about it. They're gonna be like, yeah, that's all right, but we finna hit this club anyway, let's go. Right? But I think we all want that. That's something that we all want inherently. But like I said, just the way things are now, it just don't point to that. It's not a thing. But Ricky, I think you just hit it on the head, man. It's you know, and this ain't popular. And you, Shan, you always talk to the young kings, right? Young kings, they want to hit everything that's moving. They do, because when I was a young king, I wanted to hit everything that was moving. It's just real. But is it reality? You know, I don't know.
Mr. Ali, sir, what are your thoughts about it? Most men will never experience abundance of women.
I agree. I mean, with everything Ricky said, Eric said, I agree. I'll say mostly because of they've set such a high standard for themselves and such high expectations that there's never going to be reached. Typically, they're going for now what it look like less than 10% of the population of men, or 2, at least nationwide. And then they create narratives that men try to keep them from, that they keep going through. You know, like dealing with multiple men, going to having another baby daddy, trying not listen to the advice of uncles, grandfathers, and other men just to do it, and not even be honest enough to tell the men and say, hey man, I made a mistake. It's like they're purposely making mistakes on purpose just to say they didn't need anyone. And then they set an expectation for themselves so high to say, hey, I want a high quality man, but they know they're not even being that type of woman to get that high quality man. I think that they're setting themselves up for failure on purpose, just to not admit it's because they're not investing in being a high quality woman to get the man they want.
All right. Is anybody else that has anything different or something they want to add on to it? I know a lot of guys been agreeing on this.
Well, I would say this. Maybe the unpopular opinion, I don't know, but we were not designed to have an abundance of women. If you look at it from a biblical perspective, and even a lot of religions don't look at it as a man having a lot of or an abundance of women. It is something that we have kind of created ourselves because we can't control our urges. And so I think it does affect men just as much as it affects women to have a lot of sexual interactions with women, because that means you can't control yourself. That also means that you are devaluing that woman. And it also means that you're devaluing yourself, because you're saying, I got to go chase my nut more than my purpose. Right. So I would say that most men will never experience an abundance of women, but we also was not designed to do so.